Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Swara Media's Dollar Dream program. So, it's been a while that we are live. So, on a Labor Day weekend, it's a long weekend. So, hope you're all having a great time off for this long weekend. But as the Q4 quarter four is coming up, we thought of having a session with financial expert VR Chinni here. We want to bring a lot of topics in this show, but we want to make this as a series of sessions on a dollar dreams. So the new program Dollar Dreams is primarily focused uh, towards the NRIs to save some dollars for this Q4 of it's a tax savings and how to make an alternative ways to income. So that is the main focus and theme of Dollar Dreams. So with that said, we are welcoming all the listeners, viewers, and readers of Swara Media to the program Dollar Dreams. And today we have our distinguished guest. We are Chinigaru with us. Hi, Chinigaru. Namaste.
Hi Raj, namaste. Yeah,
Happy Saturday. Welcome to the show. So for all the NRIs, one of the primary reason why they are in US is to chase their dollar dreams. So and you've been mastered in this journey from last more than a decade or so. So please share your experiences and your journey with financial literacy to the community, and then we'll start taking the question and answers from there.
definitely. This is pretty interesting. Thanks for inviting me to the Swara Media, and you and the whole Swara Media is appreciated for bringing this topic to the community. First of all, this is a much appreciated, much needed actually. So
Mhm.
the importance of the money, right? It has become a primary ingredient in our life, even though money is not everything, but it has become primary ingredient. And that's one of those reasons, people have a different thoughts and goals and why they actually came here into this country from India. But here is the kind of situation. We are all here, but the
Absolutely.
importance, yeah, we're all here kind of look at the legacy of what we were building in the United States, all stalwarts from India, every sector. You're talking about healthcare, you're talking about information technology, you're talking about agriculture. Even in agriculture, yeah, we do have a couple of really good game changers in the country. So we're everywhere because the point of interest is here is the financial, right? Finances. So when we come to this country, even in terms of me, when we come to this country, we come with a goal or a dream, right? And same goes with everyone. When we come to this country initially, what is the first thing what we kind of look at and put more serious? The job, right? I need to find a job, right? The best job, better job. And then kind of comes into one after other. Then the visa situation, right? The visa, H1 visa, I need to apply for a green card. Then the citizenship. So that's another journey of these things. But in this journey, we indirectly missing the importance of financial literacy. So that is my learning, Raj. If you wanted to say, what is important, why it is not so kind of we overlooked into it, because the prime job is our primary situation, and then getting a visa into a green card into citizenship is another bigger game. So in this journey, we kind of see it, don't see it, the importance of financial literacy. That is
Absolutely.
where we are in this business over 10 years, and we're educating thousands of families. I mean, you saw that, right? Recently we broke 300 plus shows
Yes.
uh, in United States. Yeah. So we did TV shows, radio shows, and then hosted our own webinars across the country and educated thousands of families.
That's a fabulous journey, Chinni. So, so 300 plus shows. And again, it's just those 300 shows is primarily for education and infotainment, right? So you're passing the information to the community on various aspects for their improvements, for their betterment in their life. It's a phenomenal. Kudos to you and your team on reaching that milestone. So 300 episodes is not a joke. So heartily congratulations on that note.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's much appreciated because we need the feedback, we need the encouragement, right? That's only a person can actually move forward. Otherwise, if nobody's listening to me or to our team, then who would? Well, we're not going to talk to ourselves, right? Forever.
Yeah.
So definitely, yeah, there's a much appreciated for the community for taking receiving us, and then also your media. Without media, what is there, Raj, these days? Media makes miracles. Take that line from me. Media makes miracles, right? Yeah, let's do it. Let's spread the word out. I'm open for all of you guys. Yes, thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. So just give me a second. So just want to make sure that the listeners are able to listen. Okay, so I would like to start the primary maybe the questions or so before even we go into the deep diving the literacy aspects of it, I have a few fundamental the disclaimers that I want to make it announcements. So, hi listeners. So, in the next few minutes, we're going to be talking about, touching upon various topics, right? About savings, tax savings, alternative ways of investments, and the do's, do nots, and that is applicable. So this is more as a generic situations, right? So might be applicable for most of the people, but again depends on the financial situations. You are advised to consult with the financial planners and experts like Chinni to take the final calls before you implement anything. So this is a more as an educative and informative and brainstorming session, or maybe kind of knowledge sharing session. So feel free to talk to us, ping us offline, and we will be here to help you out to set the goals and achieve the goals. So that is the main intention of the series. So again, the name Dollar Dreams is chosen because we all are here and we are chasing our dreams, and those dreams are well directly and indirectly connected to dollars. So if you have a stable dollar inflow, so which means that you're chasing your dream in a perfect way. So that was one of the reasons to pick the name, and that is well apt to the program and the content that we're going to be producing in the series of episodes. With that said, so Chinigaru, so we would like to start the first fundamental question. Right now, the economy is kind of it's kind of a quasi state, I can say, right? So because of the inflation, the monthly expenses are going high, and whereas the income levels, most of the people that we are touching in this talk, in the seminars are the IT employees. So the growth, or maybe the growth or the salary growth or the maybe income growth is not potentially reaching those levels. Particularly the recession market and the layoff market, and even the consulting market is not really great in this time. So what is your primary advice to the community to think through that?
That is a very global question, if not national, right? Yeah, in the industry right now, definitely there are some challenges going on. At the same time, there are so many advancements also happening, right? So if it's something is positive, yeah, no worries, right? Everybody takes and everybody actually have a celebration. But if something is negative, that's where we need to focus on. It's not that okay, there is no advancement, there is nothing is happening in the industry, but there's so much is happening. For example, I'm just kind of throwing a random AI is left and right, right? It's happening. A lot of things are happening, but we only talk about the basics of it, like the survival part of it. Jobs, layoffs, and issues and problems, and how do we manage it, right? Yeah, definitely. This market is because of that of introduction of so many things here in various directions. You say politics, or you say national issues, or you say job markets, and you say happenings. Definitely, there are things that are happening. But one thing that I wanted to say in the perspective of finances, right? Whatever our parents, grandparents, kind of taught us, that is what we all should actually follow.
Mm-hmm.
So which what they kind of said and taught us, if you make a dollar, $10, $100, $1,000, don't spend everything. Okay, so spend only little, and then keep the good chunk, save it, which is in other words is save it, for future purposes. That is a kind of a sutra that every family that out there need to actually practice it. And these generations, I see it, right? Then this generations, the new upcoming generations, they're kind of making money and spending money just like that, but not really sure how you really wanted to actually plan it, right? So that's kind of one of the things I would say, that you wanted to hold on to it. Okay, you make money, you save it. save it before you spend it, right? So that's the kind of game that I would say in one line. There are so many things that are happening, Raj.
True. Very well said. So save for save. I mean, as you're saying, so I mean, I'm remembering something. Uh, so chimalu, so ants. So they all form a line to save food for the winter. So the way that how they do. I mean, when they earn something, they keep something for tomorrow, and that's how they go forward, right? Um, which is very good in terms of the savings and move forward. But coming to the alternative ways of income, so I always put life as particularly it's kind of a black box. So
Hmm.
there is an inflow and there is an outflow. So when you're
Yeah,
talking about an outflow, it could be expenses, or it could be the savings. But how to funnel that out, how to funnel the inflow better, what are the alternative ways at the high level? Again, this is a very very high level. People would start talking about stock marketing, real estate in various ways, and throw some light on alternative ways of income, not just with not with heavy investments. What are the other alternative ways?
yeah, yeah. Very good question. In this style, and there are so many names to this particular the piece that what you're talking about. Or in one way, this is called as a plan B. What is my plan? What is your plan B? You have a job that's going on right now. It's a plan A, right? What is your plan B? What if something actually you get a gap between your job, or you got a layoff, or you got a some whatever it is? So it's all there. The one should actually have a plan B always. That's the one thing that one should remember that and work on it. Not remembering, work on it. What's your plan B? That's one thing. And second thing is the second way of the way the saying is, side gig. You always say, oh, hey, I have a side gig, I do this and that, right? So those are the things you really wanted to focus on that. When you're talking about a side gig, it's actually your passion, your interest. It goes around your passion and interest. Okay, you're doing some job to make things come to end, but what is your real passion? What do you really want to do in your life? That becomes a side gig, and then kind of becomes kind of a business, like a freelancing business per se. And then that actually helps you as a supplemental to build your wealth. So that's kind of a way you wanted to see it. And plan B, what is plan B? Plan A, what if my plan A actually gets stuck? And then what are my options? I cannot
Mhm.
simply again get onto the market and then look for a job. So you should always have a plan B. What is that would be and could be or should be. So this is all about how you want to do it. And then you touched a really good point that there are so many ways that you can actually having these supplemental income in a plain language. What you can say is a supplemental income from your primary job, right? There are so many ways, all the way from the individual freelancing to owning a franchise. There's so many, but you got a good point saying that important point saying that okay, for some of the businesses what you really want to do, you need to put a lot of investment. For example, I mean, you can go for any franchise. Let's say McDonald's, right? $1 million minimum, I think. I mean, that's maybe it's more now. 10 years ago when I actually really looking at it, it's $1 million
Mm.
in Japan, but you can to open a McDonald's franchise. That, yeah, similar to that. But there are so many ways, right? So now you need to cut down to things. Okay, first of all, you need to see, okay, what is my plan B, or what should be my side gig? You work on it. And Raj, for those really enthusiastic, really wanted to make it happen, I am more than happy to give a one-on-one
Mhm.
session for 30 minutes. For 30 minutes, no strings attached, absolutely complimentary for all Swara Media viewers.
Thank
Okay,
you.
that's an offer. Yeah, 30 minutes one-on-one, just on the side gig. Okay, just on the plan B. What do you really want to do in your life?
Yeah.
Supplement your wealth, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. So I always talk to the people. How a passion can be converted to a profession. So
Yes.
where we all are kind of continued with the 8 to 5 or maybe 9 to 6. We call that as a 9 to 6, but that is in our brain for 24/7. But what are the other alternative avenues to make more life more fun filled, financial freedom, and have more stable. So obviously, so the listeners, I'm sure you're hearing from all the different media platforms today. So anyone who's looks forward to convert their gigs, I mean, I know other string attached to most of us is visa. So even though when you are on a H-1B visa, how the side gigs are, how the profession or passion can be triggered into a continuous wealth mode. So we can discuss those offline, and please ping us, and definitely I'll share VR Chinni's contact details, and you can set up time to discuss more on that.
Perfect. That's what I'm talking about, because there's not much we can talk about, right? Then it's going to be boring topic here. We're talking about one thing. There are so many things you can do. And the other way that you look at the building your wealth, Raj, before you ask a question, there are two kinds of a way that you can actually build your wealth. One is a passive way, one is an active way. People call it a passive income, right? Hey, I have $100,000, I have a $50,000. What should I do? But I don't have a time. See, that's another way of look at it. What do you really want to do? How do you actually really build your wealth, for the generations to come, in your lifetime? So that's how you want to say passive. You want to put your time as well as some investments, as well as do something, or you want to just do nothing. But I have put a quarter million, $100,000, or $50,000. That's another way of looking at it. Either way, we can, I can give you some thoughts to them with all the options that are available.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect. So, we talked about two aspects, right? So, one is on the inflow, and the
Yeah.
second, while outflow. Outflow, you touched upon one of the topic about, save for tomorrow is one. And there is another aspect about tax savings. I'll come to
Mhm.
that a little later.
Yeah.
And so, while we talk about the inflow and outflow, the third point is about protect the wealth, that what we do within the black box, right? So today, what you gain, what you I mean, obviously people would reinvest onto the vehicles, or maybe the tangible and tangible assets. So how do they protect it? So I remember last time during our last conversation, you brought about a point about essentials and I mean, I think what is essential? So is it a home, car, and these are essentials, or is it a livelihood is an essential? So I think it. I mean, mandatory versus essentials, right? So I think you brought about a point last time. So I want to reiterate on the topic. So how to safeguard the current assets, and that I mean, the wealth that we earn, with our hard work, and how to successfully, or with with a with no tax impacts, and how do we can transfer to the future generations.
Yeah.
Can you throw some lights on that?
Definitely. I mean, that's going to be its own topic, definitely. But we'll touch this one in this
Yeah.
session. Uh, this is the thing. There are two angles you can actually see it. As a matter of fact, we're coming up with a new campaign called "Every Financial Journey Starts with an Estate." Every financial journey starts with an estate. So that's what the whole idea is about. Now, what that actually means is you kind of really kind of understand in a simple language. When you start, working, and you paid salary, and when you paid salary, where do you put that? Where do you actually? How do you actually take it? Right? You don't take that in a cash and then put it in your house every month. Let's say you make $10,000 every month, or 15,000, $20,000 every month. Where do you put that? You don't put that money, take the cash and put it in your house or in kitchen or somewhere, right? You would put that in a bank. Why do you do that? Right, so that's what it is. So when something actually really comes in, a valuable thing comes in, you want to put that into a protective place where it can be protected, without any issues. Then you start actually using, for utilities, for car payment, for restaurant, for things, right? So that's exact similar the analogy that you wanted to apply when you start building wealth. You said, for your generation, generations to come, right? So how do you do it? So you start building the wealth first. Okay, make money and save money, and then increasing that saved up money, so that becomes wealth. But where do I keep my wealth? How do I actually kind of protect it? That is called an estate. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what we say, you know, every financial journey starts with an estate. That's where you wanted to start it. You wanted to establish, you should establish an estate, then start putting all your earned up monies and monies and monies and build your wealth. So that's one thing you wanted to look at as a perspective. And the other thing is that, right, the other day that we actually, the other session, what we spoke about is what I mentioned was everybody wanted to make money, and for various reasons, but the various reasons have actually been kind of faded out. But now I want to make money. I want to make money. Okay, why do you want to make money? First of all, why do you need money? You are actually having a job, and you got that, and then you are actually satisfying everything and your responsibilities and your family, whatever it is. Why do you want to make more money? So when that comes into a situation, no, I want to make money so I can enjoy. I want to make money. So that's where the kind of differences have we actually clearly made it. When you need resources, which is one of those resources of financial money matters, right? So you need it for two things. One is to satisfy your responsibilities
Mm-hmm.
and obligations. Now you're separating, okay, what are my responsibilities, what are my obligations? So those are the things. Responsibilities is your family is your responsibility. So whatever your family needs it, then you need to kind of satisfy with those responsibility, right? That's point one. Point two, excuse me. If you have a child, right? So if you have a 5-year-old child, for example, in 13 years, your child is ready to go to college. So what that means is when your child is ready for college, then you need a really good chunk of you know funds. So how do we do it? So that is your responsibility. If you don't start saving money from today, then how in the world that you're going to pay that college fees in after 13 years? So that's what we call it. That's a responsibility. And what are the responsibilities that you have, right? Your own retirement is your own responsibility. So you kind of think about yourself. I'm only giving you a couple of thought points, right? Then
Absolutely.
right, that's only. Then people say this is where I wanted to separate it, and people say yeah, paying mortgage is also my responsibility. No, it's not a responsibility. That's what I say. That's why I separate it. Responsibilities are different from obligations. So paying a mortgage is an obligation, it's not a responsibility. Because the reason why I say is that you bought that house wantedly. You don't need to buy a house to live. You can rent it, right, with a minimum, right? But you wanted this many, this much, this one. Oh, my friend bought it, this one, peer pressure, all that stuff, right? So that means you bought $1 million house or $1.5 million house. Now you started paying, and you became all of a sudden you became a slave for 30 years. 30 years of payments. No matter what you do, it doesn't matter. You have to pay for 30 years.
So you're saying not to buy a home? I mean, I'm just kidding.
So that's another, again, a different topic. Yeah, if you want to have a topic, yeah, please, and please call. I mean, I'd love to have a debate also.
I remember, I have to thank my friend Anand Balakrishnan. It was happened in 2011, I believe, when I was in Michigan. So my friend, so it was back in 2011, as I said, right? So we were having a debate or conversation at a workplace about buying versus renting. So he put a math, and then he explained me the I mean what you just said, right? Obligations versus responsibilities. Again, that time, it was not even about, there was not so much of awareness about financial literacy as well. But as I said, each and every individual needs to think about what is in it good for me, what is that I want to do. I mean, obviously there would be a lot of peer pressures, a lot of the individual thought process about, again, I want to share my story too. So when I started in 2009, so my first home rent was around $250. And then once I moved into a home, and after we got married and then moved into home, so in Michigan, it's Auburn Hills, the place. So the for one bedroom condominium was around, one bedroom house was around $570. But today the 570, I don't even want to talk. Where my 570 is going per month. So there is a lot of change in this 10 years. But as you just mentioned, where is that going? Is it responsibility or is it, obligations? So, and what my responsibilities down the line needs to, everyone needs to think through it, and it changes for individual to individual. That's why I request all the listeners to have one-on-one sessions with Chini. But yeah, sorry to interrupt you. Please continue.
No,
Sorry.
this is awesome. The great share. I mean, that's kind of a memory, right? That's a good share that you shared. This is what it is. I mean, so me as a professional, as kind of an inspirer, I'm not going to say to anyone that okay, this is right or this is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I am here to share the things that all that you should consider. Then have a plan, then do it. Like you said, every family is unique, right? So I'm saying, so I'm sharing. It's not that okay, you shouldn't buy a house. I'm saying you have a three. Let's say, for example, you have a three responsibilities, right? And you are trying to get into two obligations, which is buying a house, for example, buying a car. Okay, you have a three responsibilities and you are trying to get into two obligations. You have total five. My only the kind of the perspective I want to give is before you are getting into an obligation list, first satisfy your responsibilities. Okay, that is my point here. So if you satisfy your three responsibilities in the example, if you still have some more funds, resources available, go buy a house, go buy a car, whatever your dream car is. But then the current world is that unfortunately, the most of the generations, what they're looking at is they're focusing more on the obligation list. I want to buy a best car, but I don't want to plan for my child education. See, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not opposing on that. Or don't buy a house, just rent it, live a pathetic life. No, it's not how it works out. Because you wanted to satisfy. Okay, first let me actually take care of my children's education. Okay, I'm done. I'm good. Now I still have more money. Let me buy that car that I really wanted to buy a car since my childhood. But things are actually reversing. Then people are getting into as they are ready for college, the children are ready for college, getting into these situations, or their job is kind of a shaking in between. Like we started with a session, right? Job market. Then what is happening? You did not prepare for your college, children's college. You did not properly prepare for your own retirement. But now you got that obligation that you have to pay no matter what, rain or shine, job or no job, you have to pay for that payments. That is what the things are going on right now, what I see in my eyes, in my perspective eyes. Yes.
Yeah, good. Well, very good. So I want to close the session around at 9:45. So we just want to have another 15 minutes on this, right? And then the future sessions would be more detailed and dedicated towards each of the areas. So just to recap, so in this session we covered the primary focus is to bring on the dollar dreams. There are three essential topics. One, how to increase the funnel. Everybody is doing the primary job. What are the other alternative ways? Or how do we can more be effective even on the primary job? What are the other alternative ways to make money, more money? Or how do we can get rise? How do we can do that? That's one. And definitely, again, we are talking about a more generic topics, the individual and case by case, it would vary. So we need a more one-on-one or individual sessions to have more detailed conversations about the individuals. Second is more about the outgoing, right? We know whether it is a tax savings, dollar savings, what are the dollar saving options available? How do we can do that? And third, that's where we talk about obligations versus responsibilities. How do we do that? Which is the priority? So today's lifestyle has changed over the years, right? So what is obligation versus responsibility? What is the more priority? And the third one is we just briefly touched upon the topic about estate planning, or maybe how to safeguard that. How do we save it? And even the future generations, when something happens to us, without any financial burdens, how they can avail the fruits that you gained. So those are the primary focuses on these discussions. I think we primarily touched upon these three topics. Anything more specific that you want to add, Chinigara?
Yeah, I mean, so there are, I mean, in the financial world, right? There's multiple things and various things, and also it depends on family to family and the new individual, their desires and the goals and whatnot. It's all about how they wanted to lead their financial life. I've seen the full spectrum of families, all the way from saying no, my children are smart enough. I don't think we need much money. As long as we just have a minimum, bare minimum that we can survive, we're fine. We're absolutely fine. Those are the set of families. But on the extreme level, the families they have. You know what? In my lifetime, I at least wanted to make $100 million as a wealth, legacy to leave my for my children. See the extremes, right? That's pretty common. You see it, but see the goals, how they see their family, their life, and their children, their legacy. So that's why every family is unique. You really wanted to sit. Don't get through the peer pressure sides of it. Oh, my friend is doing this. Oh, I'm not doing anything. Oh, my friend is doing that. All that, right? That's a peer pressure. You don't go anywhere with that.
One should get peer pressure from Elon Musk, not from anybody else.
There you go. Yeah, yeah. So, but here is the thing: the peer pressure is good. I'm not saying okay, avoid it. I'm saying don't follow. Peer pressure is good to learn things. Let's say, for example, I'll give you one example on how you actually deal with the peer pressure. Let's say, for example, your next door neighbor, bought a pretty expensive car, right? And what do you feel? Just next door neighbor.
Invite them
Just
for
next door
dinner.
neighbor bought a very expensive car, and every time that he gets his car out from the garage, I see it from my window. So what do you feel about it?
Encouraging, inspiring, so maybe
Yeah.
we should look forward for it and have it on our garage too.
There you go. See, that's where it kind of hits out, right? It's pretty common. It's a human behavior, right? But you need to be smart. Like one of those things you said, if what's your, how do you set your smart financial goals, right? Yeah, this is what it is. This is a clear example. You immediately wanted to see that what exactly I said. Wow, this is awesome, right? I wish, I wish I want to have this better than my neighbor's car. All right. So this is where it is. But here is a simple example that how you wanted to look at yourself. That should give you a thought process. That should give you a options that you would want to look at, and that should also kind of look you into the practical, situation of your finances. But the last point, what I said is missing in the whole thought process. People don't look at that, all that. The clear example in this is okay, the next door neighbor has no children. Their wife and husband, okay, they are making six-figure income. But this family actually has three children, three children, housewife, and single income. How in the world that you can afford or get that car for you? So that is a practical thing I'm talking about.
Yeah.
you know so that means you should assess yourself before you getting into peer pressure, right? But
Again, so I want to change a little perspective, right? So, again, I mean, that's where we've been talking about. Everyone's technology is different. So the .NET guy would be getting a different paycheck versus a SQL guy versus, again, I'm talking about the tech world. But, similarly, there are a lot of avenues like social media stuff, and there are various other avenues to make the money. So again, we'll come back to that. So I'll have few questions from the audience. So we'll
okay.
take those questions first. So first question is, any specific ratio or thumb rule to follow on, so let's say if they're making X amount of dollars, so is there any standard guidelines to have savings versus investments on the monthly income?
Yeah, I mean there are so many benchmarks out there. One is called a 30, 30 and then 40. So that's a one case that you can actually think about it. I mean, you can internet search. There are so many, whatever that fits to you. That one is a pretty popular one is 30, 30, and then 40 is the one that you wanted to keep it. So 30 for the kind of expenses ongoing, and then you cannot cross. See, this is where the whole world, at least in US, right? People spend money, and spend money, and whatever left, and they think it is left. That is not how you should do it. First, okay, I've got $1,000 this week. Okay, let me save this one, this of $400 out of this, $1,000, then let me spend the remaining $600. That's how you should actually have it. But unfortunately, it's the other way that that game is going on. Yeah, you need to look at that. That's where it comes into these things. What is my responsibility to fulfill? See, it's all connected, Raj. So how do I? Okay, now you say, okay, got it. Okay, you asking me to, okay, park $400 out of $1,000. But then how do I do that? Then that's not enough.
Yeah,
Then okay,
so it
you're
is
saying,
well understood. It is well understood.
yeah,
Depends on the responsibilities. It would change for each and
yes,
every individual. But so I think the question is more about standard guidelines, and I think you answered that. So 30, 30, 40. So the next question is about more about the estate. What is estate? How does one can start the estate plan?
yeah. Estate is because the estate is kind of a legal entity, legal understanding about all your properties and assets. There are two ways that you can actually do. One is through an attorney, because it's a legal stuff, right? Attorney can actually help you with set up an estate planning for you, or these days, we're talking about technology, right? You can leverage technology and get the exact same output from what you get from the attorneys through these technology enabled tools, which you can get it at a fractional cost. So there are two ways that you can actually do it.
Got it. Got it. And can I mean the next question is more about the tax strategy, which we didn't touch upon in this session. But do you want to throw any lights about the tax strategy? Particularly now the kind of inflations and about the political aspects that are going in, right? So the last, when during the Trump time, so there was some changes happened during the tax planning. So what is your advice considering the 2024 the elections are coming in? So what should be the tax strategy, or what is the tax strategy that one should follow at the
Yeah,
high
there
level?
are two. Yeah, the high level. Yeah, the two levels you can actually look at it is, if you are kind of on a crunch side, that hey, if some disturbance happens, then my financial life also kind of get disturbed. Then you should look out as it says, cash is king, right? Cash is king. So you keep those in a liquidable assets, so that way, if you kind of have a break or some kind of a job situation, you at least have some kind of a liquidable assets that you can you know kind of maintain for 3 to 6 months. That's what it's called, emergency cash. Also, in other aspect, it's called cash, emergency cash, right? So most of the things that until you kind of see that, okay, this the system is actually stabilized, you kind of move into the liquidable asset side. Um, and the other side of the thing, what you wanted to see is, let's say you have enough liquidable assets, and then you have more surplus of that actually going on, and that's where you can actually put it into kind of conservative investments like real estate or any other aspects. That's what I can say on the higher level, Raj.
Okay, so what is the best time to start, the tax plannings for the year, so today it's already 24, we are in September. I mean, with next few years we're going to be in September. So what is the best time to start the tax plannings for the current year?
Yeah, so I'm not a CPA or I'm not a tax certified consultant. I cannot answer to that. But in general, yeah. So that when is the taxes and the tax period, right? Yeah. So anytime is the time for you to start actually taking tax advantages, right? Yeah, it's not a something, but it's you have a deadline when you're talking about, the cutoff. That's a deadline, end of the year or April 15th, right? Those are the things. So until then, this you have a full time to all year to actually start doing something for tax benefits related aspects. Yes, have
Got
all
it.
year round. Yeah,
Got it. So you gave me a clue. So the next session I should do, I mean, maybe we should plan with the tax CPA.
absolutely. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, good. Good. So, so just checking the time. So it's already 9:42. So we'll wrap the session in the next 3 minutes. I hope all of you, so we have quite a good number of listeners on Zoom. So I hope, the session is worth enough for you guys. And we will be having the session. We are planning to continue the session alternative Saturdays, right, Chini? So alternative Saturdays is the session. So we'll have a session for 30 minutes just to cover on probably one of the key aspects. So we'll come, I know the next few sessions would be more focused on specific area. I think that way, we can talk about, the more details about the topic, and then have more detailed conversations on that. So as this is the first session on the dollar dreams, so I think, this session gave you the overall perspective and the thought process about what are the different aspects and how it needs to be, and how, in again, it changes person to person and case by case. So we'll have more detailed conversations, and we're available for your conversations at any time. So please feel please feel free to ping me, or you have Chinny's contact in the flyer, so you can reach him directly and refer him. That you are from Swara, so definitely uh, there would be a definitely value added benefits. So you would perceive in further conversations with Chinny. So with that, thank you very much for all your, for all the listeners and viewers your time. And this is available on YouTube and on the podcast. So feel free to go through it, and then we will be available, and we'll be coming live back in another 2 weeks. So alternative Saturdays we will be doing this session. So thank you, Chinny. Thank you very much for your time. I know it's a long weekend. I'm sure most of us will have plans, but thank you very much for taking time and being available to kickstart this information sharing sessions, particularly, which is very, very much needed. And I know most of us think that I know I'm getting $1, I know how to save it, and I know how to make it, double it, or maybe triple it, or how to grow it. But it is always wise to listen from the experts, and particularly people like Chinny, who's been in the industry for more than a decade. So it's great to listen from the people and experts, and that will, I'm sure, that will, I mean, those insights will change our lives. So with that said, I would like to have Via Chinny's closing statements for this session.
Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. That's beautifully said. That last line. I really appreciate that. Bringing that up line up. You said, okay, I make $1. I know how to take care of the dollar. I know how to multiply the dollar, right? So if your own thoughts, your own strategy, if you make that $1 into $5, you know what? If you have a expert help, proper planning, you can actually make with the same dollar $10. Very simple. It's not that, okay, you cannot do it. That's my a closing line, Raj. It's not that you cannot do it, but if you have a proper plan on top of what your plan you have, and if you take the assistance of the expertise of in the industry, which is the financial industry, then you can make exact with the same dollar, you can make $10 or
Yep.
$9 more than what you make. That's all I wanted to share this weekend.
Yep, yep, absolutely. I want to compare one analogy here. So I was talking to a college admission specialist on the other day. So particularly as the college admissions has been very critical these days. So the guy was advising the students that you need to start preparing for your college admissions when you are in the middle school. So when you're in the middle school, not even in the high school, when you're in the middle school.
Yes.
Similarly, when you have to have a financial stability, or stressless or stress-free financial life, so better to start at the early stages of your the career. Again, that doesn't mean that the train is not left. So you still have you're still doing the journey. So do or talk to the people, experts, take their expert help and move forward. That will help you have a better tomorrow. So we all are doing, like, as Kalki, or the new movie said, repeticosum. So we are also doing repeticosum to do it in a better way. Thank you very much. Thank you, Chinigar. Thank you
Thank you.
very
Thank you, Raj.
much.
Thank you, Swara Media.
Thank you all.